Hey, hey, jetzt schau ich, ist es noch richtig gefunden? Ja, perfekt. Sehr gut. Grüezi. Gut.
In English, right? You're okay with that. But Grüezi sounds super. That's basically the name of your program, one of the programs you had, right? Grüezi Österreich,
Grüezi Österreich was the name, exactly, yeah.
which is basically the origin, the most original greeting in Switzerland, right? The Grüezi. It's often also what people make fun of because it's
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
big, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Good
So
to
good.
see you.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. It's amazing to be here.
How has your day been so far? No surprises, because yesterday I understand you had a surprise visitor, right?
Yeah, exactly. A visitor from I met him in Asia,
Oh,
and so he was here for one day, and it was like exciting to see him again. And so everything was a little bit crushed, my whole plan. So yeah, thank you for your understanding.
yeah, no, sure. I mean, I said that because we had originally planned to talk yesterday, but of course, no problem. I mean, life happens, right? And it's always good to catch up with friends. And so you like surprises then?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, life is full of surprises, and
Indeed.
that makes it yeah spicy.
Yeah, I totally agree to that. And I'm sure we will talk about this more as we go and dive in deeper in our conversation. But let me first introduce you officially and say a few things about you. So you're Gérôme Ehrler, and you're an actor, an author, and an expert who helps people find their passion. You started your professional career in banking, and I assume a lot of people would think this is a secure job. Let's say also, I mean, you grew up in Switzerland, right, which is often considered a country where banking is really one of the main industries. But one day you decided to step out and pursue your dream of becoming an actor, and that brought you from your home country, Switzerland, to Vienna, Austria. That's also why then Grüezi Österreich,
Österreich, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
where you studied music at the Music and Arts University of the city of Vienna. And within 4 years, you launched your own comedy and poetry program. You performed in sold out shows with it. You also played in movies, in films, and at the renowned Burg Theater in Vienna. As a
Exactly.
consequence, you have been nominated for a number of awards, and you won the Fidelio Prize in Vienna as well. So, and more recently, you fulfilled yourself another dream. You wrote and published your first book. In German, the title is Wegweiser für Träumende, which is a guide for dreamers, basically. And this has been a bestseller. So, congratulations on all these achievements. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, let's talk about dreams and dreamers. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm absolutely ready.
And I would actually like to start with something that really made me laugh as I was reading your book. And it's a self-diagnosis you made of yourself. You diagnosed yourself with ADS a few
Mhm.
years ago, which is Adventure Deficit Syndrome.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a bit? I mean, how did you become aware that you might be suffering from that? And how did it feel to have it?
Yeah. I mean, how does it feel? I worked at a bank and I realized it's not my sweet spot. It's just like, yeah, I go there, I work there, but I didn't feel like I lived my full potential, you know? And I had so much energy. And it's not possible. You sit the whole day at the table and in front of the computer, and I just realized that's not what I want to do my whole life. 8 9 hours a day. And so I realized, yeah, it's time to change something, and really to be honest to myself, ask myself like, okay, what do I really want? Not what my parents want or my environment. What do I really want? And what are my strengths? And then I had this dream about, yeah, stay on stage or in front of a camera and tell stories, you know. But I come from a small village. Nobody is an actor or an actress. That's just like, you know actors from Hollywood or from the films, but I didn't realize I could be an actor. And so there was a big realization for me that I can be an actor. And so the whole journey began, and I quit my job and started to become an actor with all the ups and downs.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there were. I mean, as you say, you like telling stories, and I can't wait for you to share some of these stories with us. That moment when I mean, you took the decision to step out, but then you had to communicate it. Can you still remember how that went? I mean, it's of course, the company, but then I guess also your most intimate environment, family. How were these conversations? How were they received?
Interesting. So you never know how people react. And I knew one or two people in my, like my sisters. I knew that they want the best for me, and they support me whatever I want to do, you know. But it was like my parents, I mean, they want also that I'm happy, but they had this thought about, you know, security for my son.
Yes.
And maybe a lot of people know this problem or this need from the parents. And just to that's one of the big parts, just to have the courage to say what you want and take the risk. Whatever they want, they will say. You don't know, you know. And so it was a process. It was not like from one day to the other. I'm not like this guy, just did it. No, I had 2.5 years struggles inside to, oh, do I really want it? You know, so much risk. What if I fail, etc., etc., etc. And so it was a really painful way to get clear and then to make a decision. And so just to trust yourself and take one step and another, you know.
What helped you come to the decision? Whether people or, I don't know, other tools maybe that you used for that?
One is I get an invitation for theater for the Schauspielhaus in Zurich. And so I went there, and that was the first time I saw professional actors on stage. And I realized, oh my gosh, there are people out there who earn money with acting. You know, I did some small theater stuff in my village, but nothing huge. And I realized, wow, there are people out there who tell stories and earn money with it. It was not in my, horizon. It was like, just like, okay, wow, that's really a possibility. So surround yourself with people who already did what you want. And so that really helped me to visualize it, to be sure, okay, there are other people who already do it, and maybe I can do it too, you know. And the second thing that helped me is to really reflect, what is the price I pay if I don't do it. And you can see the people who are like 5, 10, 20 years in front of you, and ask yourself, is this my way? If I end up like this, is this my perfect dream? And if not, you have to go another way. And this helped me very much, because I saw a lot of people in the banking area, in the banking sector, who had these dreams when they were young.
Yeah.
But they had this huge need of, oh no, I have to, I need a security or this status or whatever. And they were really unfulfilled. And then there comes a point when you are 40 or 50 and you realize now it's maybe, it's never too late, but they think it's too late. And now they have to stay at this job they hate to do every day for 20 or 15 years. And that's a long time. And I realized that's I think a bigger price you pay than a little bit of this uncertainty or the struggles you have. And in the end, I think when you are 80, that's also a good question you can ask. If you are 80, what would you make more happy? Like, lived your dreams with all the ups and downs, or just stayed a safe job you hated every day? So then the answer is really clear.
Yeah.
This helps to be clear, and the clarity is clarity leads to power. This is so important. So it's also when I coach people. I mean, this is one of the biggest struggle, like the security, the money, and all the stuff. But the bigger problem is they don't have clarity. And if you can't see it in your mind, you can't go the way, because it's like, oh, should I go there? Should I go there? But if you are clear inside and you know, okay, this is the goal or the dream, and I know it step by step what to do, it's yeah.
Then it pulls you forward, right? I hear several things. I mean, first of all, you may have used some banking skills by doing this calculation, the risk calculation. So it's not just blindly going out, but really thinking it through, reflecting, and then people around you that help on the way to get there. And still, I mean, you mentioned it already. It was not just a joyful journey, or so there were. Can we dive a bit into that, the pain? You know, so somehow, even though you went through painful, let's say, periods to get to your dream, or to the next dream, let's say, because I think you will probably always have another dream and another dream and another. Good, right? So, but you just something made you keep going, right? Even though it was painful. So what was the pain on the journey, and what helped you in those moments? You know, because I think this is often what happens. We just stop, right? And when it becomes really painful. One step, as you described, is the fear. But then once we are there, or we're going into it, and it hurts, we may just withdraw. So what helped you with that, and what were the pains that on the journey?
Oh, I had a lot of different pains, like pain of having no money, for example. I mean, I made an apprenticeship at the bank, and I didn't understand how money works. I understood, like, okay, if I have 1 million, what you can do perfectly with this money, you know?
Yeah.
But if you don't have any money, then it's like, how do I earn money? Be self-employed or do my own project? How does it work? I couldn't give you the answer to this simple question. And I realized in the whole, in the schools or in my apprenticeship, I didn't learn it. And I realized after my apprenticeship at the bank, I wasn't a banker. I was a salesman. I got some product and I sold them, you know? And then first I had really to learn how money works, and then to amplify or connect it with my passion, and then it worked. But it was a painful way to find all the right information, because there's a lot of bullshit out there in the World Wide Web. So first I had to realize how does it exactly work, and I wrote it in a book. It's the biggest chapter, because one of the biggest struggle people have, because reasons why they don't follow their dreams, is money. So it's step by step, how money works and how you can combine it, which questions you have to ask yourself to earn a lot of money with your passion. So
you became more of a banker after you stepped out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course. That's fun.
And you said something very powerful. You said, okay, I'm saying powerful. You said clarity is power. And you mentioned somewhere that people often seem to know what they don't want, but not really what they do want. So what you're saying is clarity in knowing what we don't want doesn't necessarily work, right? Could you explain a bit how you have seen this, as part of your life, or maybe also in the work you do as a coach? Why would people know what they don't want, but not the other thing?
Why they only know what they don't want?
Why?
It's because it's, I think, maybe a biological stuff, because it's more important to see what we don't want, what's dangerous, you know. So we always focused on these things, but where energy goes, grows.
Yeah.
So we have to focus on what we want. And there's a very, very simple exercise. I love it. I do it all the time, especially in the moments I'm a little bit stuck. It's you write the next 2 or 3 weeks, everything down you hate in your life that doesn't feel good anymore. You know, every details or big things, it doesn't matter, everything. When I did this exercise the first time, I could write a book. You know, it was had to change a lot. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, you make a line in the middle of the paper and write on the opposite side the opposite. You know, for example, I hate my boss.
Yeah.
What's the opposite? Yeah, maybe I want a good boss, but what is it really? I want to maybe earn more money, for example. I want this amount every month. And then when you finished this exercise, you only focus on the things you want and put this list with the things you want on the fridge or at your bed, and you see it every day. And at the beginning you think like that's impossible to do or be all these things, but suddenly you take a shower and it makes like, oh man, oh, wow, I can combine this with this, and wow, my life get easier if I do that. So we have to be creative to solve our problems in life.
Creativity, yes. Awareness, you're mentioning that. Any other tools that you use? Because I'm not sure, I could assume that you still experience fear sometimes, or maybe even the adventure deficit syndrome. I think we go through life in waves, right? We're not always at a high. So what tools are you using today to help you with that compared to before when you maybe didn't have these tools?
Yeah, the self-doubts or fears come up if you don't have the right information, for example, or not the right skills. So you scare. So the first step is always to be clear what you want. Really, I mean, research what is possible and be clear. Maybe print some pictures from your new dream or whatever it is. And then ask yourself, okay, which skills, which knowledge do I need to accomplish this dream? Maybe which people I always do this. I ask myself, okay, which person already did it,
Yeah.
And then I ask them. It's that simple. It's that simple. You ask the people who already fulfilled it.
Is that how you found your mentors also? Did you just ask them?
Some of them, yes, just ask them. And the beautiful thing is, if you ask for advice, it's like a compliment for the other person.
Yeah.
So they're willing to, if the question is good, not like, yeah, help me and I don't want to do anything. You have to do the stuff by your own. But if the other person, the mentor, see, okay, you are dedicated and you do the stuff he told you, he's willing to give you more advice.
So also clear on that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you change, beautiful sentence, if you change, everything change for you. It's about the law of attraction. And if you become this person who is this actor? In the magic way, you attract the right people and circumstances. And this is beautiful to see. So my first mentor, it was like luck. But, it wasn't, I stayed at the bank and hoped that somebody comes and help me to fulfill my dreams. No.
You stepped out.
I stepped out. I failed. I keep going. But, I hold this energy, and suddenly there was like, oh, there's a mentor who takes me by the hand and show me some stuff. And it was also like, first you have to go out. First you have to take the steps. First you have to change yourself. And then everything changed for you. And this is beautiful if you experience it. If you never did experience it before, then it's maybe a little bit hard to believe it. maybe.
It's like a practice, right? So the more you practice taking these first steps, and I love that you mentioned first steps, because we're talking here about first time experiences and other life experience in this podcast, right? So, but it's exactly that first step that we're often most afraid of. And as soon as we take that step, we start to see that the second step is maybe not so difficult anymore, right? Right.
And also, just a little thing is, if you have this big dream, it's not this big dream. It's really break it down in milestones, in weekly goals, in daily goals, in hour goals, write it. I write every day this focus daily planner every day. And so I'm really clear, because if I'm not clear and I just sit here, I just waste my time, or I'm really quick at, on Instagram or wherever.
Yes.
So just be clear what you have to do, and then do it step by step.
And then you have to focus. Yeah. Did you come across people also that would then be jealous at some point of you, because you just went on with your dreams, and you create, or you fulfill dream after dream, it seems, right? So that other people who are more stuck in where they are, as you mentioned, that people who have dreams, but they don't go after them, right? Yeah. Have you been, faced with negative feelings or reactions from people?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So
yeah, if you follow your dream, you are a mirror. You inspire a lot of people. It's so beautiful to get all these messages. I changed my job, I live my dream, I take the first step. That's also this for these people. I do all my work. And there are a lot of people who just say like, he's lucky and da. And I just know what I do every day, so it's not luck. And most successful people know it's not luck. It's maybe, you change, then, different energy, different vibe, you attract different people, circumstances, but you have just, take this first step, fail, stand up again, and try it again, and have the mentors, and put your ego back and just listen, learn. It's a lot of, dedication to learn new stuff. And if people hate me that I follow my dreams, that's amazing. It's just a trigger. And that's also a really important thing, that if a person says something bad about you because you follow your dreams, it says nothing about yourself. Nothing. It's just a reflection. I just trigger them because they know they don't follow their dreams. And they knew, okay, I have this dream, or I had this dream, and now I see this other guy, and I knew I didn't have the courage or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's not my problem. It's not my problem. If you want to, how can I say that? If people, if you want to please everybody, you won't follow your dreams.
Yeah, true.
But most people don't think that much about you, that you think, maybe,
Yeah.
Most people have so much troubles or thinking all the time about yourself or themselves, and so it's not that important. Yeah, but you have also like to build up this trust in your way, in yourself, and also always reflect who give you the right feedback. And this is also important. Like, I only listen to people who are 2 or 3 steps or 10 steps further than me. But nobody who is like still at the safe job who want to give me advice. No. It's just, it goes here in and here out.
So you have these filters, right? And you also, you're clear on what voices you want to hear. And also inside, to me, it sounds like you have managed to listen to that voice in you that is the one that pushes you forward and believes in you. Whereas I think a lot of people have that other voice that is still very strong, right? The voice of self-doubt and so on. Yeah, let's maybe briefly talk about, what you do in terms of earning your living, right? Acting and writing as an author and coaching, obviously, as well. These are also skills, I think, because when you learn how to act and writing, etc., you go through a process. Like that is a lot about getting to know yourself better, I guess. You mentioned in the book one scene where you say you were acting in the bank. You were still in the bank, and you felt you were acting because you gave a response that was expected but was not really what you felt inside, right?
Yes.
So now, since you're an educated and professional actor, do you still sometimes feel in life that you act, or has this awareness changed for your own, kind of way of responding in general in life?
Yes and no. So first we have to realize that everybody plays in general 36 characters per day.
Wow.
Okay,
More
because
per hour, yeah.
you are a friend or a boss or a father or a mother. We play all these different characters.
Yeah.
So first of all, yes, we play different characters. But the more you know yourself and what your values are, what your strengths are, what you're excited about, what your boundaries are, the more clarity you have about these things, the more is it possible to just say the things you truly feel in the moment. So you don't have to act like I'm another person. And this is a big difference between yeah, I play different characters like everybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm more myself than how can I say that? More myself than ever before. It's just like you know yourself and you know your values and you have also this trust that you can say what you want and what you don't want, and it's step by step, and sometimes it works. Most of the time it works, and sometimes now I have to see inside why I couldn't tell the truth, because maybe I'm afraid because I'm losing a friend or a sister or a job or whatever. And then it's always a self-reflection. That's the beautiful part about following your dreams. It's the best way to know yourself. Yeah.
And I could imagine that also writing the book, right, was a process for you with a lot of self-reflection.
Absolutely.
And you in the book you have a combination, I mean, similar maybe to your program, the comedy poetry program, the Grüezi Österreich, where in the book also you combine different elements like personal stories, but then also scientific knowledge. You again have poetry in there, you have humor in there, but it seems like poetry and humor are like two main kind of topics in your life. Has it always been the case, or how did you discover humor and poetry and then the combination,
That's a really good question. I think for me it was, I just watched so many videos, online from comedians.
Yeah.
But I also like, I love being touched, the poetry that's opened my heart. And I just love these two things. And when I also experienced, like I went to a comedy show, there was like 90 minutes, only jokes. It was exhausting for me.
Yeah.
And so I tried this combination because I just love both. And that's what people love about my work. It doesn't matter if it's in the book or on stage. It's just this combination, because people can laugh, it opens your heart, and then the poetry can deliver the message directly into the heart. And this combination, I just love it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And it's probably very much also what you have inside, as your core, as your foundation. I think this is a very, very beautiful point to stop. We laughed, we went deep, exactly like humor and poetry. Thank you very much for being here today, and all the best with your next dreams. and talk to you next time.
Thank you very much for the invitation, for this beautiful talk.
Thank you.